Join us as we uncover the symbols, the stories, explore the mysteries, the power, and the legacy of a kingdom that is still unfolding. This is a journey where history, prophecy, power, and people converge, and the story is still being written, from ancient kingdoms to the spaces where modern voices meet. Voices that refuse to be silenced, part of a heritage that continues to shape the present. The past is not dead, it lives, it speaks. And here, we listen, we reason, we respond, and we testify. We dive into ancient truths, symbols, and signs still relevant today. The scepter has not departed, the mystery is not lost, and the kingdom, it is still unfolding, one episode at a time. This is more than a podcast, it's a return to the source. Welcome to the Scepter of Zion, where ancient truths meet modern voices. And now, to conversations, truth, and power, the scroll begins to open. And here to guide us through the gates, your trusted voice and seasoned guide, a voice for the remnant, your host, Ruben B.
Hey, welcome back to the Scepter of Zion. That's right, we did survive the first show. Somehow, we back on the air again. And you right back here. Either you lull or you accidentally clicked on the wrong podcast. You might have thought this has got to be some handball channel, fishing channel, cooking, something. But either way, I am honored that you're here. So once again, welcome back. So this time is not promising to enlighten you. No, we are going to enlighten you, so yeah. And we do have the keys to the universe. Like I told you in the first episode, there's a crack in the universe. We're going to come through it. So it might get a little strange. Mix of some history, some cultural, and maybe some questionable commentary. Maybe even a joke or two. Yeah, I might tell you a couple of jokes. Speak later, though. No, I'm going to do one right now. No jokes. Anyway, I'm your guided tour guide. I'm your tour guide through this journey of ruins, civilizations, right? So it's going to be some random thoughts and stuff like that. Some ancient conspiracy theories. So just buckle up. Come on, buckle up. Because it's about to get philosophical up in here. Some shit, you might even think it's a little ridiculous too, but anyway, we're going to come with it. Hope you be inspired by what I'm going to share with you today, because it's hot. It's hot in here. But anyway, if you missed episode 1, I'm not giving you a recap. Go back and listen to it. It's really good. But we're going to dive right back into these conspiracy theories. The Scepter of Zion? Yeah, we question history, especially the way some of these people written this stuff or wrote this stuff, and thinking that, hey, they ain't gonna know these secrets and signs. Yes, we gonna get it. So you really gonna like what I got in store for you on this journey right here. So here we go. Buckle up. So, Greece is in the Bible. It is identified as one of the world major powers that will rise after Babylon. And you can find that in your King James Version of the Bible, Daniel chapter 8, verse 21. Yeah. It also talk about Paul's journey. Paul, the one they always talking about in the Baptist church. Peter this and Paul that and Paul this and that. But Paul did travel extensively through the Greek world. The major Greek cities became a center of early Christianity. So you can find that in Acts 17, verse 16 through 34, where Paul was troubled by the many idols that they worship in Greece. And like I told you in the beginning, or I told you earlier, that was their way of life. These different gods and these goddesses that was part of their religion. That's what they did. But the entire New Testament was written in Greek. So it was translated from Hebrew to Greek to English. So the Greeks helped shape early Christianity along with the Roman Empire. Wow, that's right. Now I could go into some really, really deeper stuff, but I'm staying on point. I'm gonna stay on focus. But you can also go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 22 through 24. So you check out those scriptures. Then I mosey on over to I want to say this right, Mykonos, Greece. Man, that's a beautiful city, beautiful city. Even though it's not in the Bible like that, is so the Greek mythology, the old saying is that this is the island of the giants. This is where Hercules defeated the giants in a cosmic battle. Sure you did, Hercules. Yeah, I know you did. So, but over there, all the buildings over there are painted white, and the whitewashing buildings reflect the intense sunlight that creates a natural atmosphere of purity and brightness. And let me tell you, it was beautiful over there to just witness that, to see it. Every building over there painted white. If you build something new over there, you have like a year and a half to paint it white. So my next stop was Sicily, Messina. And they also have some beautiful churches over there. Even though it's not mentioned in the Bible, but the city called Syracuse, not Syracuse, New York, so Syracuse. it's mentioned in Acts 28, verse 12. So, and Messina it became an important Christian center after the New Testament period, especially in early church history. Okay. Even though it's not mentioned in the Bible, but it's rich in spiritual, cultural, and symbolic meaning. Florence was the birthplace of art, science, philosophy, and a new way of thinking. It was a rebirth center after the Dark Ages. But the birthplace of art, maybe Italian art, the birthplace of science, maybe for the Italians, but not for the rest of the world. And then later on, in another class, we'll discuss really what the Dark Ages really mean or meant, because there's some really good information there. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and Botticelli weren't just painting. They were actually reflecting a deep spiritual truth through beauty and form. So I'm walking through Florence looking at these big cathedrals with statues and waterfalls. So come up on this Michelangelo statue. It was beautiful. I didn't go to the one in the museum because the line was too long, but they had one that was outside that was just as spectacular anyway. So off to the right of that, there was a whole bunch of other statues along with two lions in front. If you don't know what these lions mean, it's from the tribe of Judah. And they out front, meaning that they know that Judah is actually the ruler, or the ruler. Well, anyway, okay. So also, Florence is like the birthplace of the Renaissance from the 14th through the 17th century. It is considered the crater of the Renaissance, a cultural and intellectual explosion that transformed Europe. It was also the center of banking and commerce, where they actually used gold currency across Europe. Right? Its banking system was led by families like the Mercedes or something like that. So, But it made Florence one of the wealthiest cities in the world during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. And they were in power for over 300 years. They were in charge of the banking over there. Then, of course, I went to the pizza, I guess it's pizza, the home of the famous Leaning Tower. So it was built as a bell tower for the cathedrals there, but the ground became unstable, so it started leaning before they could finish it. But you know what? It never collapsed. It's been there for centuries, surviving earthquakes and wars, right? And they have a building over there, and it's dedicated to John the Baptist, who is also a major figure in the New Testament. And so in the Middle Ages, it was a powerful naval and trading center. Ships were traveling through there throughout the Mediterranean, spreading culture and Christianity. Yeah. Then I went over to Malta. Man, I love that place. I'm going back again soon. So, it's like a fortress city. You got these high fortress, these walls. It was a refuge and a beacon of faith across centuries of struggle. Valletta was built by the Knights of St. John after defending Malta from the Ottoman Empire in the Great Siege of 1565. So, if you go to Acts 28, Paul was shipwrecked there in Malta, right? That's right, Acts 28 verse 1, right? Malta is a few modern nations with direct mentions in the scriptures. And one thing about Malta over there, it's like 25 churches in like a 3/4 square miles, man. And the St. John Cathedral there is full of art and gold. Full of art and gold. So it's a very, very beautiful place. So, Greece is in the Bible. It is identified as one of the world major powers that will rise after Babylon. And you can find that in your King James version of the Bible, Daniel chapter 8, verse 21. Yeah. It also talks about Paul's journey. Paul, the one they always talking about in the Baptist church. Peter this and Paul that and Paul this and that. But Paul did travel extensively through the Greek world. The major Greek cities became a center of early Christianity. So you can find that in Acts 17, verse 16 through 34, where Paul was troubled by the many idols that they worship in Greece. And like I told you in the beginning, or I told you earlier, that was their way of life. These different gods and these goddesses that was part of their religion. That's what they did. So, but the entire New Testament was written in Greek. So it was translated. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll be right back to dive into some more of the Scepter of Zion. Welcome back. Here we go. Let's get right back into it. Let's continue on this journey. Greece and Malta felt like stepping through the pages of history. While moving to the rhythm of the present, in Italy, I stood in front of the mighty Colosseum. Yes, I did. I also stood in front of Caesar's palace and saw the little statues of Caesar and all that stuff like that too. But there were some other sites there next to the Colosseum that they never really show in books or TV or whatever. That was just as spectacular. You go, wow. So I walked through the ancient of Rome and felt the echo of the empires in every stone and statue. The Vatican City, like I said, I didn't get a chance to go there, but next time I will. I gotta check it out. But Greece was cool too. I mean, it brought a different type of So especially going up to Acropolis, walking up these mountains and stones that's been there for wow. Because some of the other property that's up there that, they don't really show it. But there's other ruins up there that's just as spectacular as that building. You see these marbles and you see these stones and you see the writings on them and stuff like that. But the ruins tell the stories of the gods and the philosophers. That's right, the white marbles and temples of the past. So my time there connected me to the very root of democracy, myth, and human expression. Malta, even though it was smaller and was no less grand, it was a fortified city. Like Valletta, it held layers of Arab, European, and Mediterranean influence. So the island carries this mystical edge. It has these nightly legacies and churches carved with limestone cliffs. Man, it was just nice. So throughout the trip, there was a balance of deep reflection and lighthearted moments, in every corner. Man, it was worth it. So, but standing among the ruins of Rome and Athens, I realized something powerful there. These weren't just stones, columns, and broken temples. They were shadows and echoes of something far more ancient, you see. The philosophies of Greece, the power of Rome, even the myth of their gods, none of it was original. So beneath these marbles lies a story that reaches back farther to Israel, to Yahweh, to covenants that are older than empires. See, the world remembers Zeus and Caesar, but who remember the names that both try to erase? They try to erase our whole history, right? So that's why our journey take us next, because to truly understand the rise of the West, you must trace its hidden roots to the East. You will discover in episode 2 that the story of Yahweh and his people does not just pass through Israel, Africa, nor reign only in Jerusalem, but it echoes in Athens. It confronts Rome, and it still whispers through every cathedral, every statue, every empire that rose and fell. And once you see the connection, you'll never see the Western civilization the same way again. Come back and join me for part 2. Because this is where the journey gets even deeper. The truth will shake everything that you thought about history. So we reached the bottom of our time for this episode in our journey through these mysteries and symbolisms of the ancient Western world. Hey, we ain't closing that book, we opening it right up, right in your face. Because in the ruins, there's a whisper In the stones, there's an echo. There's symbols that's carved into history. So we're gonna open that on up. So we invite you to return next week. We're gonna continue this path, unearthing hidden truth right there in your plain sight, right there in view. Right? Our voice is gonna be this rhythm of history. So we're gonna uncover these things that once again they hidden in plain sight. No, we're gonna open this. We're gonna investigate these symbols, these signs, these secrets, these spirits, these stones. You know what? They've been waiting for a long time for one to come out and to come into our minds. The journey isn't over, baby. Hey, it's just begun.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Scepter of Zion. If something stirred your spirit, sparked a memory, or whispered truth into your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, walk in it. We invite you to invite others into the conversation, into the unfolding. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement returning to the root and rising with the call. Until next time, hold the line, guard the flame, and never forget who you are, because the kingdom isn't coming. It's already here and rising, one voice at a time.
You've been listening to the Scepter of Zion, a Kingdom of Shalom production. Subscribe, share, and join us as Zion rises again.